SoundHound is starting Wednesday down 15% after its earnings report. But what could the future hold? MarketBeat analyst Thomas Hughes joins us now with a look at this stock that's seen some explosive growth this year, but not so great news this morning, Thomas.
Yeah, this morning the stock is down, but it's really just a reaction to news that didn't make the market quite happy enough. The bar for this company has been set very high. Analysts have been raising the bar very high. It's still outperformed the bar and raised its guidance, but the whisper figures were even higher. So it's just a response to not meeting up to these really high expectations. But you got to remember that the company is still growing by nearly 90%. Growth is accelerating. It's in the very, very earliest stages of an industry that's expected to grow more than 500% in the next 6 years at 28% CAGR. So this is a big, big story. This pullback is absolutely a time to buy the stock.
This pullback is something we've seen in a lot of these rapidly growing AI companies, NVIDIA being one of them. After earnings reports, there's such high expectations, but I think it's hard for investors to figure out how to play such rapid growth. This stock at the beginning of this year was trading under $2, and now we're up
Right.
above 7, almost $9 with more growth to come. How do you keep as an investor on top of a stock that's seen such rapid growth?
Well, you have to keep it in perspective, okay? Because SoundHound is still a very tiny micro cap. Its revenue this quarter was just $25 million. That is a very, very small amount of money. So it's only begun to monetize its product, but its industry is AI voice assistance. And AI voice assistance is seen as some have called it the killer app for AI, for generative AI. It is what AI is supposed to be doing, talking to you and helping you get through, navigate through some processes, including like customer engagement. So this company's focus is on helping brands connect with their customers. You think about call centers and all those voice AI products. This is the leading voice AI product that's able to hold a conversation with people. It's improving daily. They're expanding into new verticals. They're increasing and improving the breadth of their product offerings. So there's just a lot of things going for this company. Right now, it's growing at a hyper growth pace. Above 80%. Growth is accelerating. It's continuously, persistently raising its guidance. It's raised guidance 3 times this year while outperforming. So this is like a quadruple win for the business. It's outperforming, it's hyper growing, it's raising guidance, and it's persistently raising guidance. We have to assume that guidance in the coming quarter will be raised, and the guidance for next year, which is calling for another acceleration in revenue, to also be cautious. So we're looking at a persistent cycle of improved guidance that should also be seen in the analyst sentiment. We should start seeing those guys start raising their estimates pretty soon and help add lift to the stock price.
Yeah, so despite the dip that SoundHound is seeing this morning, you just released an article saying you expect a big 2025 ahead for this company. Talk about some of those reasons. You just mentioned a lot of them. I think the number of new contracts and other businesses that are jumping on top of SoundHound products is another good sign for strong future growth in 2025.
Right. It's expanding the number of businesses and also the number of industries that it's serving. So it's improving its client base. One of the important metrics for this quarter is that its concentration and diversification were greatly improved. Last year at this time, 70% of its revenue came from a single client. This year, that same client only produced 12% of the revenue, and there was an expansion into other segments, other industries that just provides a much firmer base of support for the company's business.
All right, with so much volatility in a stock in such a short time period, what's the trading play for SoundHound?
Yeah, the 650 level looks like a pretty good trigger point for buying. The stock fell hard after the release. It's down around that level right now, but the early indications are that the market is buying this dip. I would expect to see that this level or near to it hold as firm support for the market to rebuild its base of support and to begin moving higher, if not by the end of this year and early in 2025.
That sounds like a good entry point for traders, but a lot of traders are also taking advantage of options, especially for stocks like this one. Now, if you are new to options, MarketBeat has a premium report really explaining how options trading can really benefit your portfolio. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to get this premium report you're only going to find on MarketBeat, all about options trading. Now, Thomas, what are some good options that people could consider for SoundHound?
Well, SoundHound is probably a pretty good play for options traders because of the volatility. It's producing some pretty big moves. It's also got some pretty clear technical levels for support targets where it's trading at now. So I think this would be a fine candidate for short-term and long-term options plays, trying to capture the near-term volatility as well as the long-term price movements.
Yeah, there's been so much movement in this stock. Of course, the short interest is also seeing a big increase. Any thoughts about that and how it impacts how you would play this stock?
Well, the short interest is certainly going to provide some headwinds for the market, but ultimately, I think the shorts are going to provide fuel for higher prices because as the company continues to grow and outperform its estimates, they're going to be forced to cover their trades and provide fuel for a short covering rally, if not for a short squeeze. The higher the short interest goes, the greater the chances for a short squeeze.
Yeah, how far are analysts expecting this stock to go in just the next year?
Right. So if you look on MarketBeat, you can see there's about 8 analysts covering the stock. Their sentiment has been firming this year, lifting this sentiment up to a moderate buy, verging on buy, and they've been raising their price targets. Right now, their price targets are only expecting a low double-digit advance. But again, I expect the results and the forward results to lead to an analyst upgrade cycle that will provide lift to the market and lead this stock to new highs.
So it sounds like you are a SoundHound fan and you would get on right now during this dip.
Oh yeah, I think this is a good stock to get into. It's certainly a speculative play, but it's got a lot going for it. I think a smart position will perform very well for investors.
Thanks for the time today, Thomas, and walking us through SoundHound. You can read his full article on marketbeat.com. And thank you for joining us here on MarketBeat Media. Let us know what you think about SoundHound. Is this a play that you're getting in on? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us. And as always, happy investing.